Loneliness, silence, anxiety. Too many men are carrying it alone. I'm Jack Starr, powerlifter, personal trainer, aerialist, and ex private investigator. And this is The Other Side of Tough. We're rewriting manhood one conversation at a time. And today we have a elite powerlifter. He's done everything in the sport, powerlifting coach, and practically family to me, and my coach, Justin Kalkin. Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to the show, brother.
Happy Thanksgiving, man. Very, very grateful to be on. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for taking the time. I'm going to go into my first memory of you. It was my first powerlifting meet ever. And I remember I was scared shitless, waiting like everyone on their first powerlifting meet, right? You're surrounded by giants, huge people. And, I was in line with waiting for the equipment check, and I heard people
Mhm.
talking, heard people murmuring, and they were like, "You see that guy over there? That's Kalkin. He's going to win the whole thing." And I was like,
Oh
"What?"
man.
And they're like already calling it out. They're like, "He's going to win everything. He's the best around." And I was like, "Damn!" And then you lined up right behind me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I was I was like hella intimidated. And then you reach over to me and like, "What's up, man?" I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was like, "This is my first meet ever." And you're like, "Oh, let me look at your numbers. Let me look at you." And you were talking me through the whole thing. And I couldn't believe the support of everyone there because you're surrounded by these big, intimidating dudes, including yourself, and everyone's going out of their way to be so helpful. But I remember you in particular. You won the whole meet that day. You were
Mhm.
best lifter, and you were in your zone and you were doing what you had to do. But you took time out of your own warm ups to let me get in and tell me what I should be doing for the weight I was doing. And you were going out there putting in the help. And after that day, I did like a couple online powerlifting meets, and I
Mhm.
was plateauing, and I was like, you know what, I need a coach, and I know exactly who I want as my coach. I remember you and the kindness and generosity, and that's like exactly who I wanted. And now whenever I go, I mean, we've probably been through 5 or 6 meets
Yeah.
together. And everywhere I go, I tell them who my coach is. And they're like, yeah, Justin is a great guy. He gives so much to the sport of powerlifting. And that's what I hear continuously. And I see is how much you give to the sport. And that level of commitment is very rare, especially with someone as young as you. um, Tell me about how you got so passionate about powerlifting, what led you to a career in powerlifting, and what led from the transition from competing to coaching.
Yeah. So first of all, it's funny. Like I remember it was 2021. It was during the pandemic. We did that meet together, and we didn't even know each other. It was that USPA meet that was outside in Westlake
Yeah.
Village in California. And then I remember like I remember the weigh-ins. I remember when we were warming up, and my friend Stanley was warming up, and I was like, I got to make sure Jack is doing fine warming up,
Oh,
just
that's
because I
great.
remember you saying it was your first meet, and then just yeah, I just have something about me where when I'm competing and I know somebody's new, I just try and make it the best experience possible for them, just to know that like there are some people that aren't so nice in the sport. They're very self-centered and stuff like that. So I try to just do as much as I can. But yeah, it's really crazy how long we've been working together now and how awesome you're doing, and it's
Oh,
just awesome to be able to help you and guide you. But yeah, so basically I was attempting to play college basketball, and long story short, didn't happen. I always loved lifting weights. I was training in a little CrossFit gym and running group classes in Sherman Oaks, or no, Van Nuys, California, near Sherman Oaks. And I just bumped into a powerlifting coach. He got me into it. Didn't really prepare me as I needed to be prepared. I won't like go with names, but um, it's just basically my whole. Long story short, my whole mission with my coaching and helping people is the fact that I want them to not have to experience all of the injuries, all of the mental side effects of what I've dealt with. because like you firsthand know recently in the last like 6 months, when you get hurt and the initial reaction is, how the hell am I going to go forward? How the hell am I still going to do the things I love? Why can't I do this? How come anything I do does not feel how it should? And like, I got hurt really early on. I was pretty strong. I started powerlifting when I was like right around when I was in the end of high school when I turned 18. I'm 28 now, so I'm almost 10 years in.
Still
So
young.
yeah, yeah. I always make a joke. Powerlifters age in dog years, um, but but yeah. I mean, basically, the main thing is number one, like, can the person that you are going to have help you actually guide you through the rough parts of powerlifting that happens? Because I was just thrown into the fire, like, hey, I didn't know technique, I didn't know how to brace, I didn't know really anything. It was, hey, we're doing a meet in January, and that was in July, and I was just like, okay. And I did it. I was hurt. I still did it because I'm stubborn. But it made me realize, like, I mean, for myself, especially, and then helping others, it's like, it's much easier and it's much, not really easier, but it's more advantageous to teach somebody correctly from the start than have to fix somebody like myself who's just, like, broken, going up and down, being healthy and not. And still, like, I struggle with my back now, but I know how to manage it and I know how to kind of get through it. I mean, there's not really an injury I haven't had. That's why I'm confident that, like, I have people that know that are physical therapists, and I sent you to the chiropractor I know in LA,
Great
and
factor. Yeah.
yeah, they're all really really great. So all I try to do is kind of help people not go through what I have, and if you do, as you've seen, I can kind of help you along and keep you from kind of going down in that dark road in your head.
And one thing that I think is really great, like the best piece of advice you gave me during that time, because I was going into that dark
I could tell.
type of, that dark void. But I remember telling you, like, lifting is all I have, and you said no, lifting isn't all you have. Don't make lifting your identity, dude. That's what you told me. And that was like the best piece of advice, because it took a lot of pressure off me, because I mean, you and I are similar, that we're very emotionally attached to lifting. It's part
Yeah.
of our therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's different type of lifters, like lifters that can really channel that rage and anger, that deep-seated pain that we have, and like do it, and just lifters that they
Yeah.
do it for sport and that can do it, and they don't need that. But like, I feel like me and you are very emotionally powered lifters, and so injuries hit us extra hard. But you giving me that piece of advice, it made me look towards like other things, and one of these things was the podcast, which is great. But yeah, I mean, I think that was like a good, a thing that a mature coach will tell you too,
Yeah.
instead of just be like, put everything you have into powerlifting. You're like, no, this is not the be all end all. Like, this is not your identity, and
Exactly.
we can get through this. Yeah.
No, exactly. Like, it's funny because, like, my favorite athlete of all time is Kobe Bryant, and
Mhm.
like, there's nobody like who talks about pain and learning how to manage it and get through it more than him. Like, there's this quote. I have the background on my phone is his quotes, but basically, like, he says, "The storm eventually ends. When the storm ends, you need to make sure that you're ready, and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what you're going through." It's like, and he was actually talking about after he retired from basketball, like before he passed away in the helicopter crash, how after leaving the sport, he figured out, hey, I'm a father. I have a family. I have businesses that are way outside. He was a writer, like everything. And like, especially with coaching, and I still compete. I still hit PRs and stuff, but it's much more fulfilling to me when I can help somebody else do that. I mean, as you said, like, emotional investment and everything, like, the biggest thing I feel like that, I mean, it's funny, like, I think this will be my 16th competition in January, so I'm 8 weeks out next Sunday. And the last one I did was one of the first ones I ever was able to do where I didn't have to actually have that crazy go screaming everything. Like I just was like, it was just different, dude. I really, because I prep myself for that meet, and I really, and that's hard to do. Like coaches need coaches, in my opinion, because
Hmm.
things are just, it's hard enough when you're worrying about X amount of athletes. Like you have to worry about yourself and your injuries. And I mean, the one thing that changed for me was like, I was very confident. I did everything I could to get the outcome I wanted. So at the meet, I was like, I'll get excited. I'll like, my whole phrase is wake up. That's what I tell myself. I
Hmm.
maybe said it 1 or 2 times out of the 9 lifts, and I used to scream it at myself every
Yeah.
lift. But it was just being confident, knowing that I put in the work, I'm going to get rewarded for it, and just do the thing. It doesn't have to be so deep. And I think it's important, like what we were talking about with like not when I was telling you how it's not your identity, is because like you like regardless of like what you've done, like in powerlifting, like every day you're helping people too.
Hmm.
You're doing the aerial stuff, like the
Hmm.
aerial stunts now. Like you're doing the podcast. Like it's not, hey, like I felt exactly like that when you're going through your first round of horrible injury in powerlifting. Your second round, it's like, how do I get through this? Why do I want to get through this? And like, for me, it's number one. Like the one thing that made me be like, I don't really. I got an MRI like a year and a half ago, and I thought it was a joke. Every single lumbar disc I have has an issue
Wow.
from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 S1, and they get worse as you go. And I started laughing when the physical therapist showed me the MRI. I was like, "Nah, you're bullshitting." And then he basically said, "Nah, you should really like maybe not compete in strength sports anymore." And I was like, "Well, you're not the PT for me," because number one, like if anybody knows anything about bodies and movement, if you're used to putting your body through a certain type of stimulus every week and you just stop, you will feel worse.
Yeah.
Like if you're not doing your rehab that I've written you before you train, things will revert back, and we don't want that. We want to
Yeah.
keep moving forward. So yeah, well, I feel like I'm missing a part of what you asked me to.
No, no,
Oh,
no, no.
about.
That's perfect. And to like elaborate on that too, just me as like a general personal trainer, practitioner, and stuff
Mhm.
like that. The number one thing I tell my clients is that, if you do injure yourself, it's like don't sit down on it. Don't rest it.
Move.
Don't like stop moving it. The most important thing is to get that blood flow into the area,
Yeah,
heal it as
yeah.
quickly as
It's
possible.
changing things to make yourself able to train. It's like,
Mm.
hey, guess what? If your back hurts, like you can isolate your legs with machines. You can do sled pulls. You can do belt squats. You can do a ton of stuff. Like you can do the rehab movements, strengthen your core. It'll help. Like, but also like the biggest thing is like don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't
Yeah.
be afraid to like. For me, it's like I still ask questions with like I have a chiropractor I see weekly. When I was in LA, I saw the one you see.
Mhm.
Um, I have a physical therapist I see weekly here now, just because I know if I don't do these things for myself, then I won't be able to do what I love to do. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is like therapeutic, but it also is like it's more so like it keeps me grounded in the fact that like I have a regimen, I have a schedule, I need to get it done. It keeps me on track every week, and it helps because now like I can go to the gym out here. Even I was doing it there too, but just more so with the amount of people that I help in person now. It's just like, hey, I'm gonna go train. An hour and a half later, all these clients of mine are gonna show up and they're gonna need my help. So it just gives me more purpose. I get
Yeah.
through this, I help them. You know.
And
But
like, I mean, I think that gives you a lot of legitimacy as a coach. Also, is that I've seen the horrific injuries that you've gone through. I mean, I've seen you get injured at powerlifting meets and just being like, holy crap. And then I've seen you come back from them. So, as a client, as an athlete, it puts my faith in you is because, I'm like, I know that if you can get through that, that you can get me through that too. Um,
exactly.
Another thing I was going to say, like as dealing with injuries and stuff like that, is in my experience as a private or as a personal trainer, I've seen a lot of, especially older clients, get the surgery when they have like a herniated disc or something
Hmm.
like that. And it just makes it worse. Like they live the rest of their lives in pain because of that surgery. And they always tell me, they're like, I wish I never got that surgery. I wish I never went through all that to get that surgery.
Yeah, it's funny because like I feel like like I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to know what doctors know, but I know how much they dramatize with the fact, like, number one, if you like, it's just a fact. If you go to an orthopedic doctor, they're gonna figure out a way to do surgery on you if you have a problem that can be operated on. Like I have a friend who did a discectomy. He got a disc taken out and put a artificial disc. He never healed correctly. So like, there's all these things with like surgeries. Like there's stuff they can do for SI joints, for discs, but like, I mean, a herniated disc is not life threatening.
Yeah.
Like if you like, you can rehab. Like I went through a point where when I first kind of went through all my, after I got to the MRI and I finally got some help from a physical therapist and a different coach, that like they put me through this crazy different training that I didn't do a comp deadlift. I didn't do I did beltless work with front squats to a box. And then that's how I learned when you told me what you had. Hey, let's try this to see if it works. And the thing with front squats is it doesn't put the load on your lumbar. So it keeps your front loaded, you keep your ribs stacked, you keep your quads really involved. But I was in my head, I'm like, the fact that I was just told by a doctor I'm never going to compete in strength sports again, and now I hit my best total
Yeah.
after with learning how to just do things differently. Because if you break it down, anything that's going on in your back is probably supplemented by something else. Like there's some kind of imbalance going on. So it's just kind of going through the checklist of trying to find what's going on. Do I have a hip flexor that's stronger than the other or tighter than the other? Like psoas, like everything. Like you have to, there's a checklist that you go through, and with any physical therapist or chiropractor or just general person with knowledge of back pain. But I mean, I've torn my quad like multiple times. Like that was one of the most unpleasant ones, but it's just learning how to be resilient, and like people need to know they're not fragile.
Yeah,
Like,
the human
yeah,
body is miraculous.
yeah,
And one thing that I took a little course on just back discs in general,
hmm
and they were saying that the deterioration of those discs are like wrinkles of the spine. Like it's
hmm
gonna happen regardless in your age, and you have to learn how to train yourself to do it. And the beautiful thing is that you can rehab it naturally. It will adjust naturally if you do the
yeah,
right exercises and the right rehabilitation movements.
hmm
Um, One thing I wanted to discuss with you too is you were just talking about the most recent comp you did, and I think you almost had 1,800 total. Is that
yeah. I had 1740, and I didn't pull a third deadlift because my whole goal for this was to. It's funny. So the back was so bad during the last meet prep. I did like 5 deadlifts the whole 12-week prep. So
wow?
I didn't do anything. I was like, I'm just gonna maintain it, and I will PR my squat and my bench. I was nowhere near. I was like 40 pounds away from a deadlift PR, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hit what I need to hit a PR total. I'll call it a win, and I'm competing again in on January 25th, and like 1800 is my goal. So
Nice, nice.
yeah,
And how did that feel? Because I know particularly for you, I watched your two previous meets to that, and you sustained some pretty bad injuries in those, and you were getting frustrated. But to like come back from those, to come back from those injuries, and to hit like almost a perfect meet where you got all your goals accomplished and you hit
yeah.
your highest total. How did that feel for you?
It felt extra good because of everything that I was told before I was able to kind of get my body moving again. Like the thing is, like when you have spinal injuries and stuff like that, like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Nothing's going to be perfect. So it's learning how to manage it, learning how to recover, learning what I have to do outside of the gym. Like I'm psychotic with how much I do outside of the gym. I have 2 PT appointments, a car appointment every single week, and I literally go to the gym 1 or 2 times a week just to do rehab without training. Like
Mhm.
you have to, like, even just getting my 10,000 steps in, like you just have to keep moving. But I think the biggest thing was learning that I didn't have to do things the conventional way. I
Yeah.
didn't have to be linear with my training. I could do one heavy week, one light week if I had to. But what mattered most to me is, hey, if I can get myself here and be as healthy as I can be on the day, I have a chance to do what I know I can do. And I think that's been kind of like the crutch for me in my brain since starting powerlifting, kind of getting to where I am now, is where it's like, I know there's stuff that I'm capable of. I just have to figure out how to tap into that somehow. And now it's like, if I just add up everything I can do, like if I add up my previous deadlift PR and I can do it at the meet, then I'll hit 1800. But if I can't, I'll still hit a PR total and I'll still be content. But I'd lie if I would say I'd be happy with less than it, because I work too hard and I do too much to try and get there. So I'll do my best, like I always try to do.
Definitely. Do you also think that maybe the change in environment helped you reach a better height with your powerlifting? Because now you're with the Fight or Quit gym, and it seems like you're in a really like supportive community
For
of
sure.
lifters. I mean, I love those guys. I consider like Fight or Quit a second family with Micah and everyone, because they're always so welcoming to anyone who walks into that gym.
For
Do you
sure.
think that environment contributes to your success?
I'd say yeah. I'd say like yes, but also it's just like, it's very hard to be able to find a place that like you walk around, you're like, hey, I can have 3 spotters at the snap of my finger, and just people to be like kind of there, just kind of supporting you. I mean, I had the same thing when I was in LA when I was training with Casey, just because we would always coordinate and stuff like that. And I think the biggest difference, like obviously for me with all my bodily issues, is the fact that I don't have to really travel to compete anymore because they have them here. And I think the travel, like you've seen what travel can do for sure. Like you have to. That's why with like, I think when we went to St. Louis, like it's not hard travel, but it was taxing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll give you an example. When I went to, Brent, who was at St. Louis with you. So did I tell you about my travel disaster getting to regionals for him?
I think you did. I think I like vaguely remember it, but recap it.
So like if I was supposed to compete there, I probably would total like 1,200 pounds. Like it was like I got on the plane from Vegas to, it was supposed to be Vegas to Charlotte, Charlotte to Blacksburg, Virginia, which was like an hour flight. Halfway from Vegas to Charlotte, we get every single light inside the plane in the cabin turns bright red, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
Oh, no.
The plane starts flipping around and doing crazy stuff. They announce, yeah, we're halfway through the flight. We have to emergency land in Oklahoma City. And in my head, I'm like, well, I'm gonna miss my connection. Like, regardless, I'll be happy that I'm okay. There was engine failure, so we had to land, and we landed there. Then we're sitting on the broken plane for about an hour, hour and a half, because there were no airport employees there. So we're there, and then after 4.5 hours, they find us a new plane that takes us to Charlotte. They told me, they said, there's a catch. We can get you on a standby list, but there's one flight later in the day from Charlotte to Blacksburg that you can get on, but your bag's still going to Blacksburg. I was like, all right, whatever. And then right when I was about to get on the plane to Charlotte, I'm like, I'm not getting on another plane after I go to Charlotte. So I rented a car from Charlotte and I drove to Blacksburg, Virginia, like 3 hours. Wow. And I met my bag at the airport, and it ended up working out, but I was awake for like 34, 35 hours. And I was telling Brent when I got there, it was his best meet ever. He did fantastic. Right. He's an amazing lifter, but I told him, I was like, dude, if I had to compete, I couldn't even deadlift 3 reds today because of just how much sitting I was doing and stuff like that. But yeah, like travel plays a factor. Like I was just telling a friend of mine, I was like imagine you're supposed to be somewhere on Friday, but your flight gets delayed 6 hours, and it turns into a red eye. It's just a lot of little things like that. But fortunately,
it really affects like weigh-ins and everything, because if you're especially trying to like make a certain weight, like you really have to monitor what goes into your body, what your environment, what your stressors are. Cortisol plays a big, if you're stressing out, you're going to gain weight, you're going to hold that water.
And traveling can make you retain water too.
Yeah.
So, and also like, what if you're doing a 2-hour weigh-in and not a 24-hour weigh-in? So it's all the little factors kind of go into that.
One thing that I wanted to discuss with you is because, like, we talked about this a little bit. It was discussed on the questionnaire. Is that you got into coaching because you saw what bad coaches can do.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, some examples of bad coaching is maybe not alerting your lifter that their first two attempts have passed by while they're in the bathroom, and not alerting them to that because you're so focused on yourself, or
Hmm.
your clout or whatever.
I know who you're
Talk
talking
about
about too, but I'm not going to say who.
that. Talk about that a little bit with me. Talk about the coaching culture, the negative one out there in powerlifting that seems to be more about the clout and more about their specific athletes. One thing I love about you is you put the same amount of attention in old geezers like me that you do
You're
in
not an old
top,
geezer.
your top athletes who are almost hitting 2K.
Yeah, he did hit 2K.
Yeah, that was
He hit
amazing.
2020. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think what people like. That's one thing I think you'll realize where um, it's funny. Like I don't remember where I saw this. They posted like it's the war against bad coaches or something.
Hmm.
But I think the main thing is number one, you have to realize you are hiring somebody to guide you. You're hiring somebody to make sure that they're helping you reach your goal. Like when you hired me, your goals became my goals
Hmm.
because I want to make sure that you can get there. So I think the biggest thing with that is number one, like what is their actual experience level? Do they help people that are not just elite? Can they help a beginner? Can they help somebody who's been lifting for a decade? Like, can they help anyone and everybody that does the sport? Because, for example, like I feel like attention to detail is something that's not really paid attention to. Where like obviously, let's for example, you're first starting. The first thing, no matter what any coach says to you, should be let me see your lifts, let me see what's wrong with your technique, because I don't want you to get hurt. And if you have any injuries, we have to work on those first.
Hmm.
Because I think like that's where I had like a little thing go on where like I was just thrown into the fire. Hey, here's 4 sets of 8 on squat. Didn't know how to brace. Didn't have a belt. Just do it. And 2 weeks in, my back was just done. So then it was just learning how to like kind of learn on my own. What do I need to do? And then also find people along the way that can help me. So I think the biggest thing with like what you're talking about with bad coaching, and especially let's break it down into two things: coaching, programming, or even a few different things. Coaching and programming can be in one category. Also, meet day protocols and handling with like attempt selection for the protocols, for the weight cuts, for everything is way different. If you don't know how to time people's warm-ups, you don't know how to stay on top of them. Like the meets that we've done, I tell you when to warm up, you warm up, then you go out and you do your attempts. It's not like, hey Jack, how much time do you need before? No, I have it planned out. You know, because if you think about it, at a meet, for example, let's say there's 10 people in your flight. You have to take into account there's a 1 minute clock for each person, and then there's another 10 to 15 seconds with changing the weights and the rack heights. So essentially, if you're doing heavy singles at the end of your meet prep, I would say take an 8 to 10 minute break because depending on the lift, it could go slow or fast.
Yeah.
Deadlifts go fast, but like programming and stuff, it's learning how to apply what they know to what your weaknesses are. So it's
Hmm.
like if you have technique breakdown, we have to slow it down. We have to figure out what's going on, and I think it's more attention to detail, but also like just caring. Like
Yeah.
if you don't care enough to be like a coach who doesn't just say, "Hey, good job, that move, great, you're progressing." Like, you know me, I nitpick because I want you to be better than me. That's my whole thing with my clients is like, um, it's like why would I tell you like obviously if it's a great job, I'll be telling you great job, like great job, but if we do one or two things better, it could be even better.
Yeah.
So just things like that. I think attention to detail, caring, actually having experience, knowing how to help like guide a client through a competition, actually having experience at national level meets because sometimes they're announcing things and if you don't hear it as a coach, what if your platform gets changed and you're just warming up on the wrong platform? You know? That's
Yeah.
why with like lifting casts what we follow on the phones at
Hmm.
your meets is like
Yeah.
I keep track of that to make sure that you're not moved. So it's all those little things. It's like it's made to seem easy. Like people do one meet, hey, I'm an online coach, but like in reality, like if you don't know how to actually apply any of the information that you've learned, you shouldn't be going into that.
Facts 100.
Yeah.
One thing that I really appreciate about you too, that you do that you didn't mention, is that you're able to regulate your lifter's emotions. Like you know that I'm a very emotional lifter. Like I'll finish a meet and I like cry, win, lose, or draw, like after it, and just like and when I'm getting like too amped up, you're like, Jack, chill the fuck out, sit down. You're like,
Yeah,
sit
I was
down.
like, you got 3 attempts left. Shut up. Like you're fine.
Yeah, you need to calm the fuck down, And I need that though. I really need that.
Yeah.
And you're really like, I think that we've gotten such good chemistry. We've done so many meets that you can already like sense it. You can already sense when, you need to like regulate the emotions and stuff like that. And I see you do it with Brent. Brent's like a very much more
Oh,
reserved
I don't
person.
say anything with Brent. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, third attempt, let's go. Big brace, walk out. And like, I'll give you an example. Like for
He's like,
the most 2 recent ones that I've coached. So Johnny, he's the one who hit 2K. He hit 2023,
yeah.
and he's like, he gets crazy like we do, but
Uh,
to a different way, but mostly just on the heaviest attempts. So
okay.
like he's pretty composed, and then I'm like, all right, Johnny, like we've worked a whole damn fucking year. It's time to wake up and get to work. And like
Mhm.
you have to know what to say. You have to know how to rile people up. But like for example, my buddy Trey, this man just did his first meet. He totaled 1720 in the USAPL,
It's
and
amazing.
he's a freak. He's so strong, and like he's just laughing. I don't have to say anything. I'm just like we're having joking. We're joking. I'm like, all right, Trey, let's go. He's like, man, I got this. I feel good. Like that's how he talks. But like
Uh,
it's just the different emotions because like me, it used to be that like if I'm competing, don't talk to me. But
mhm.
now it's like I was joking in the back, things change. Like I think you'll notice when you're feeling really good and you're not fighting too much stuff, you're gonna kind of get in that mentality of I'm ready for this. But like you're still gonna get hyped because I know you. But 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 yeah, it's everybody's different. It's learning how to regulate them, but it's also like how do I regulate them enough to save that for when they need it? You know? Yeah.
That's perfect. One thing that this is a male's podcast, a
Yep.
men's podcast. We talk about men's mental health. We talk about the issues that men are dealing with in modern
Mm.
society. And you're a younger man. I'm in my 40s, and you're a younger man, and you see it a lot more. You're on the front lines of, you're the future. What do you think are challenges that men face in the future, and how do you think we can change for the better?
I mean, obviously, like the whole stigma that's like, hey, you're a man, you don't have to, you don't need help, get over it. Like stuff like that. Like
Hmm.
therapy's there for a reason. Like if you are feeling so low that you don't know if you want to keep going, you need to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's really, really, it's like, and it's hard for people to ask for help. And it's hard for people to admit that, like, well, think about this. This is like the analogy that I gave a friend. Like,
Mhm.
I, I'm not going to out people's names, but I
Okay.
feel like the biggest thing was like, number one, you're training your body so hard. And also, like, powerlifting's an aspect of your life. Like, there's other parts of your life that cause you a lot of stress. So, like, why not train your mind as well with therapy if you need it? So
Yeah.
like it's also learning like I mean one thing that helped me a long time ago I haven't really done it recently but journaling
Okay.
just hey I'm gonna mind dump on the paper get it out and I'll feel a lot better but I think what you're talking about like how can we change for the better is like obviously like you saw like it's men's mental health month right
Hmm.
it's like you shouldn't just get 1 month it should always be okay for you to ask for help if you need it you should always be able to talk to people that care about you and just honestly, like, I think the biggest issue is just the will to being able to ask
Yeah.
because people are just afraid. But
Yeah.
I mean,
And
I
I
think asking for help is a strength, in my opinion. So,
100%
yeah.
in anything you do, because if you're not seeking, if you're not out there getting as much knowledge as you can about everything, then you're not doing the you're not taking advantage of this life. Um, One thing that I used to do, and I had to change my mindset on this, is that I used to use lifting as therapy. Um,
Exactly.
and lifting can be therapeutic, but it's not therapy. And
No.
the way that I visualize that is that, you're this big steam conductor. And if you've had trauma, or if you've had, horrible life events happen to you, that furnace within is burning up, right? And
Hmm.
a lot of times we're not allowed to, in society, to release that flame, to release that
Hmm.
steam. But powerlifting, gives you an environment where it's welcome to like blow off steam, to be big, to be loud, to take up space, to like
Hmm.
let out some violence and rage. But in the end, all that's going to do is release a little bit of that steam, and it's
Hmm.
going to fill up. And that's what I found out. And I found that I needed to do more inner work, and I needed to actually seek therapy. And that's
Yeah.
one thing that a lot of men have a stigma against, because they think they think either it's an effeminate thing, or it's some kind of weakness, that you're mentally weak. I had one person, I was, asking the questionnaires on the podcast, and I was like, "Do you think it's okay to cry?" And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Well, I cry like a bitch." And they're like, "Well, like maybe you should see help because you have like mental, like you're mentally like unstable." And I'm like, "Well, actually, I am seeking, actually, I am seeking therapy." And they're like,
Hmm.
"Well, I heard that doesn't work." And I was like, "Then why did you just suggest it?" You know? And
Because
so
they don't know what else to say.
there's this stigma, and it really doesn't make sense, about like seeking help in the terms of therapy, because like we seek help in our lifting, we seek a coach. When we have an injury, we seek help. The trauma that happens within us in our lives is an injury, and that we should do whatever we can to heal that injury. And in the end, it makes you a stronger person,
Hmm.
looking inward and doing that. And I don't know about you, but that inner demon or whatever, as I started looking inward and stop trying to run from that inner demon, I found out that inner demon was just a scared kid lashing out, and he grew bigger and bigger and bigger when he didn't get the attention. But now that
Hmm.
I'm giving it the attention, I'm able to understand that this isn't some kind of monster. This is just something that's in me that I have to live with.
No, I agree. I mean, like mine stems from like just losing a lot of people. So
Hmm.
it's like I've just went through a lot of loss in my life, family, friends, and I think one thing I did was like I would lift my face off, dude, and then like I would get hurt, and I'd be like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna take some Advil, I'm gonna keep lifting. It does not work. You get worse and worse and worse, and until you realize how to get through those hard times and not get around them is like what you're saying, and
Hmm.
it's like going deeper within like yourself of learning how to actually face your problems and not just I'm gonna go deadlift. I hurt my back. Cool. I feel the physical pain, so the mental pain's not there. But the worst thing is the mental pain gets way worse when you're hurt because you're panicking. How am I gonna get back to deadlifting and get through all my other problems? Where like a lot of people will say, and I've said it before too, like powerlifting saved me in a way, but like in reality, it kept me going because I had structure. It was not the reason I was able to get through my problems at all.
Yeah.
Looking inward and like figuring out how to actually move past things and heal from things is what makes you better and stronger, and mentally and physically. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
And going with the theme of masculinity, men, that sort of thing, you are a man of, like, I think you are a man of integrity, honor, discipline, and you are someone that should be looked up to.
I
Um,
appreciate that.
who are some of the male figures that you looked up to kind of like gain those principles that you have?
The biggest one is my grandfather. He passed away in 2015. He
Mm,
like like in Hebrew, it's called an each sadiq. It means a righteous man.
Okay.
So like that's just it's what my brother said. Like that's who he was, and I just remember that saying. I hope I said it right. I'm gonna be really mad if I didn't. But he was the one who was there for everybody. He would help anybody. Like there was never an emergency that he didn't go to that he didn't solve the problem for. He was just like the backbone of our entire family. And then my dad, like he had the same qualities as him. He's the one who got me into fitness training and like just being. I think the biggest thing with my dad is no matter what I've done in my life, he's always been my number one supporter. Like he would work 12-hour days, but he would be at every basketball game. And like for actually, the reason why this competition probably means more to me than even the last one is my parents are going to be at it for the first time in years.
Wow, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, like the last meet my dad was at was the one that I did with you.
Oh, no way. Almost 5
Yeah, so
years
yeah,
ago.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was the last. I'm pretty sure. That was, yeah, in Westlake, that was the last one, and he would go with me. He would get hotels with me. Like when I went to Anaheim, when I went to Northern California, when I went to Orange County, everything when we would travel, he always loved the fact that like I was competitive at something, and now he like my dad and I we don't get like emotional with each other, but
Mm.
if I need him, I can always call him. But the biggest thing he does is like out of nowhere, like he made an Instagram just to follow just to follow me and like see what's going on, and he every time that I just post, hey, I got through this, hey, I helped so and so through this. He always goes, I'm really proud that you're able to help people and just be an actual positive influence on people. And those little comments mean everything to me just because like validation from your parents is important, but also just like the fact that I mean, he saw me not knowing what I was going to do in my life and figuring out what I'm going to do, and he just keeps backing it up, saying that you're doing the right thing and you're helping the right amount of people.
That's awesome. And like I want to tell you that you've helped me so much, and I've been completely blessed to have you as a coach. And that brings me every podcast. I say one thing that I appreciate about my guests, and the thing that I appreciate about you is that I know that no matter where I go, what meet I'm at, if I have you, if you're on my back, if you're with me, I know that everything is going to be okay. I feel safe. I feel taken care of. The only thing I got to worry about is lifting that weight. And I feel like unstoppable with you behind me. And I see that with all your other lifters and how you uplift them and how you give them confidence and how they step out into the arena with that unstoppable feeling because you have their back and they know, hey, Justin's here, everything's going to be okay, no matter what happens. And so I really appreciate that about you. And, like I would never, these past 5 years of working with you and competing with you, I really mean it when I say you've become like family to me.
I really appreciate that, dude. I really appreciate it. I mean, like, I could just, it's funny because I remember when you messaged me and you're like, I just wanted to ask, like, do you do code online? And I was like, yes. And just, I'd say, fortunately, at the start, we were able to see each other in person
Mm-hmm.
because no matter what, I feel like once you, like, once you can see your coach in person, you can get so much help that you could in one session you couldn't get in weeks of video. But I just really appreciate that, dude, because I think the biggest thing that I mean, like it's funny, like my mindset with I get more stressed handling and coaching than I do competing because because I know it means just as much to you competing as it means when I compete for myself. And it's like I don't like if something goes wrong, I feel like I failed you. So like that's why when we went to St. Louis and like I think we had your back was kind of messed up going in or something, or it was your hip, and your deadlift just we didn't go to plan. And I was like, afterwards, I was like, I get that this sucks, and I get that everything like didn't go perfectly, but just know that I'm gonna make sure you make this right, and everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the reassurance helps, but it's also like you go to war, but I'm going to war with you. because I mean, it's like it's so funny how we're both wearing this shirt. We didn't even plan that. But like, I mean,
every time I wear this, I feel the pride, and I feel that I have to represent you in the best way. So I always, like I never half-ass it when I wear this shirt,
I
and
appreciate that.
representing you out on the platform or wherever, because it is a high responsibility to represent you and your name, and to act in that accordance, act with dignity and pride. I mean, I remember one time I was at nationals and I like did a bench and they called me on it and I gave them a funny face, and you're like, nope, don't give that face. Like,
Yeah.
act with decorum, act with respect, and I like hold that in like a lot of importance, and I think your lifters do too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you demand a lot, but like you give a lot also.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing with that is like, you have to also remember, like, I mean, the only reason why I'm always like, yeah, like, don't do that, respect the judges, is just because, like, they're not getting paid, they're just volunteers.
True.
So, like, and we're the ones paying to do the meet, and, like, God forbid we cuss out a judge and get kicked out of the meet we paid to do.
Mm.
But we don't want to do that. I mean, like, I think just respect in all ways is just better because, I mean, like, the moment you, like, put, like, it's like when a judge goes, yeah, like your butt came up. That's what we gave you. Like, for example, on bench, it's like I literally was like, yeah, we need to bring your feet back, push your knees out. Your butt's
Mm.
not going to come up, and you're like, all right, we did it. We got through it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's like the little preparations like that. Number one, also knowing the rules, so
Yeah.
you know like everything like that. But yeah, man, I really appreciate that. I really try to give my all to everybody that I help.
You 100% do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what you got going on next. I want to hear about this meet you got going on, or
Hmm.
anything. Do you have any? Are you promoting any things with your coaching? Or going into what are you doing on Instagram? So just tell me what the next goal is for Mr. Kalkin.
I mean, the next like personal goal is just that meet in January. It's then kind of, I think, so it'll be the first time I've done a meet that's not exactly a year apart. It's a little bit sooner because I competed in June. This will be January. I've kind of stuck with the June and May kind of timeline, but basically, I'm always trying to expand my coaching. I'm always trying to help people. So yes, you like where to find me is at Justin underscore Kalkinstrong on Instagram. There's an email link. You can either message me, email me. I'm always happy to help, even if it's just like tell me what's going on. I can try and help you. And if I can't help, then I will guide you to somebody who can and stuff like that. But yeah, personal goal is just to meet, always expanding my coaching, and just I think what I want for next year is just to kind of figure out how to take it all to another level and just try and help even more people.
That's amazing.
Same old stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna definitely check out that meet. We're gonna hit 1800.
That's the goal. I mean,
We're gonna do it.
yeah, I'm working my ass off.
I
So
know
I
you're.
think I'm gonna do it.
I know you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking.
Try and get you out here to train once or twice. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I'll come back. I love Vegas. Like I
Yeah.
love coming out to Fight or Quit. I love seeing you and
Yeah.
Micah, all the guys over there. It's a
Yeah.
great bunch of guys.
And I know you know Matt too. So I know
Yeah,
you're friends with Matt.
yeah.
Yeah. We got to
Like,
get you here on like to get you to come on like a weekend so you can train on a Monday because the Monday's when everybody's there. It'll be fun.
okay, okay,
Yeah, we all squat Monday and Matt does all his lifts on Monday.
nice. I'll come up there and
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun.
yeah, it will be for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
so, do you have any plans for Thanksgiving? Are you with the family?
Nope. In
Okay,
Vegas, just going out to dinner tonight.
okay.
Yeah.
With your girl?
Yep.
Oh, that's wonderful. And she's amazing. I mean, I don't want to like bring her out into, public or anything because I'm gonna
Mm,
respect her privacy, but I'm so happy you're with her because I've seen the smile grow so much on your face, and you guys are such
mhm.
a cute couple. And so like I'm hoping that works out, and
I appreciate that.
the both of you. And I hope you have
Appreciate it.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, you and your family, and eat lots of turkey, man.
I will, man. Thank you very much for having me. And
I
happy Thanksgiving as well.
I appreciate you. And with that, I'll go ahead and sign out. This is it for today's episode of The Other Side of Tough. I'm Jack Starr, reminding you that real strength is found on the other side. Catch you on the next time. Thank you,
Thank
John.
you. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, brother.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.